If you're looking for authenticity, someone who can tell you the truth with a straight face, and someone who will always keep it 100%, Andrew Kibe is your man.
The Andrew Kibe Comedy Show. Do not come here to take any pointers, no nuggets of wisdom. Just come here, relax your diab, get your drink, and let's have a good time, motherfuckers.
He's someone who's not afraid of speaking his mind and a man who never minces his words, no matter how large the backlash. And because of this, Andrew has amassed hundreds of thousands of followers on his social media accounts. Andrew has an oddly comical persona. His sentiments, while controversial and direct, are laced with comedic punchlines that Kenyans can't get enough of.
What's up, you chronic masturbators?
But it wasn't always like that. How did he become the social media sensation he is today? Unfortunately, apart from what he rarely shares in his posts online, Andrew's past remains a great mystery. But he does occasionally tell his fans about his life before fame when he was a young man.
I remember there's a time my car didn't even have fuel. We had to park under a tree and wait for someone to impress us.
According to Andrew, he attended the Nairobi Milimani Secondary School and used to be in the same friend group with Governor Mutula Kilonzo Jr. Apparently, they were the cool kids of their school. There's a huge gap in the information between Kibe's life after school and his young adulthood. The one thing we do know is that before becoming a popular entertainer, Andrew used to be a pastor. Yes, that's absolutely right. We know that this is hard to believe since Kibe's current image is far from what most people expect a pastor to represent. Adding to that, he has even condemned religion in numerous videos posted on his various social media channels. So, it's definitely not something you'd expect Kibe to have done. But apparently, it's true. Now, we do have to mention that Andrew Kibe has denied being a pastor, despite the fact that there are numerous photos of him praying and serving the Lord from the pulpit. Kibe has stated that he could never lie enough to become a pastor, but if he could, he would have been one of Kenya's best pastors.
I want to know the mind of a pastor. I want to know, are you guys conscious when you're conning these people? Or are you feeling that power when you hold somebody and say, here, wacha nikupatie nguvu za kiume?
Now, we can't say anything, but maybe his hatred of religion has something to do with the fact that his parents once tricked him into going to Bible school for 3 months. They just loaded him into a car, didn't tell him where he was going, and shipped him off to study religion. Combine this with how Kibe often mentions his mother used religion to manipulate his life, and you'll start to see where he's coming from. Anyways, after finishing up with school, Kibe started dipping his toes into the workforce, since he knew early on that he just wasn't meant for the university life. Andrew tried his hand at a few different things, including setting up a movie shop and also photography. Yes, this dude can take beautiful pictures of your baby showers, weddings, all that which he is usually against. The first real good job Kibe ever had was a sales job at a corporate in Nairobi. When narrating about how he got the job, he talks about how he landed an interview, but the only problem was that he literally had zero experience in the field. But being the kind of guy he is, Kibe handed the interviewer an empty CV.
So my CV would stand out because of the binding and shit. So they really wanted to look at my CV. But when you open my CV, it's just crickets.
And by empty, we mean there was literally nothing of relevance in there. The interviewer pointed this out and told Kibe that he couldn't get the job since he lacked experience.
And I wanted to come up with a story that would demonstrate qualities that I'm sure you all admire here, like earnestness or diligence and team playing, just something. And I couldn't think of anything.
Now, upon hearing this, instead of giving up and backing out, Andrew only got more confident. Kibe knew that he had nothing to lose, so he brought out his authentic self. This ended up working in his favor. The interviewers were so impressed by his energy and personality that they ended up giving him the job. Between this and his media career, Andrew tried his hand at a lot of things, from being one of Kenya's top pool players to a failed election campaign, but nothing stuck. After his divorce, which he has often been quoted stating that the marriage was a scam, Kibe started a Facebook video column in which he discussed women, gender, and alcohol. He also addressed a lot of controversial issues in society. This is what he refers to as the rooftop days. The videos immediately started gaining traction and Andrew started growing in popularity. Realizing how quickly his brand was growing, Kibe expanded his business to Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, as Andrew's online presence grew stronger, traditional media couldn't keep ignoring his influence any longer and would soon start knocking on his door with offers to work on radio. Kibe's first mainstream role on radio came when he started hosting the NRG Breakfast Club with Kamene Goro. The duo entertained the audience with a variety of interesting topics. It was during this time that Andrew became known for his controversial takes on current events, as well as the dry humor that accompanied them.
I gonna do this until the day I die.
Now, as you'd expect, the network didn't take too kindly to Andrew's honesty and bold views. Despite the fact that the host had built a large fan following and that a lot of people were resonating with his opinions, NRG still thought that he should tone himself down. According to Kibe, big corporates which contributed a huge chunk to the radio's revenue through advertisements had a problem with him, therefore pressured the radio's management to tone him down. At this time, he was still a Kinuthia, and so he did tone down a bit to impress his bosses. Soon, Kibe and his co-hosts were poached by Kiss FM, a competing radio station, leading to their resignations in June 2019. NRG obviously wasn't pleased by this and served Kibe and his co-host with a court order prohibiting them from working at Kiss FM due to a non-compete clause in their contract. The judge issued a temporary injunction preventing him and his colleague from joining Kiss FM. NRG also stated that they had invested heavily into the duo, including assisting them in purchasing their own vehicles and using their images on billboard advertisements. The duo, however, breezed through this and were able to join Kiss FM in September 2019 to co-host the breakfast show with Kamene Goro. Now, not to steer off path here, but we think it's important to talk about just how big of an achievement this was for Andrew. You see, Kibe had actually tried out for a spot on Kiss FM around 10 years earlier. They didn't even look at him twice. And now look at him. The same radio station was clamoring to hire him. Goals. Nevertheless, the morning show was a huge success and earned Kibe a lot of new fans who admired him for his unfiltered opinions. This is why many fans were taken aback when he announced his departure from Kiss FM at the end of June 2020 on his Twitter page.
Hivi alienda wapi? Bro, simu hauwezi nipigia.
Word has it that he was fired for going to work late and drunk and disrespecting his bosses. But according to Kibe, it was due to his use of offensive language. Some of the words or phrases he used did not meet radio standards. Andrew decided to resign because he believed he had the right to express himself freely. The Kinuthia in him was beginning to shed off. Tough times soon hit Andrew after he was let go from Kiss FM. You see, when Kibe left Kiss, he was earning a 6-figure salary, 400,000 Kenyan shillings estimated. He had grown accustomed to a lifestyle that he could no longer afford. He was unable to pay his bills after losing his income. As a result, auctioneers showed up and took his house and car away. Things would get even worse from here on. Paddled by debt and joblessness, Kibe was forced to live life out on the streets, sleeping on friends' couches. But as we all know, Kibe isn't one to quit.
I've hit rock bottom so many times that I have become used to knowing where rock bottom is. So every time I hit rock bottom, I'm like, wake up again, let's go.
He didn't stay down for too long and got back on his grind. A few months after leaving Kiss, Andrew started working towards his own digital radio station.
I wanted to do radio. They didn't give me a chance at all for over 20 years.
Rogue Radio. That move would later turn out to be a tough step for him as he struggled to match the fame and popularity he had achieved during his stints at NRG and Kiss. This is when Kibe decided to completely step back from traditional media and focus all his energy on building his social media empire.
I just wanted to do some small videos and post them up. There was no live when I started, so you had to record it and then post it.
His grit, wit, and patience came to bear with his YouTube and Instagram pages enjoying significant growth this past year. This success, however, did not come without controversy. Look, Andrew kind of made a career out of giving problematic opinions, especially regarding women and relationships. Kibe holds the opinion that women and men can never be equal, that each has a role in life, and that women should stick to their roles of being good housewives and raising their children. He also believes that women have always been pretenders and manipulative to men, and will often use bait and switch to trap men into marriages. While talking about his own relationship status, Kibe noted that he has no plans to get married.
Nobody will ever convince me about love.
He claims that those who rush into marriage end up broke because they don't have enough time to hunt for money. Okay, we get it. He doesn't think too highly of women. But the thing is, his opinions on men aren't any better. He regularly criticizes weak men for being useless and a shame to society. He claims that these are the men that allow the world to step over them and can't stand up for themselves. The interesting part is that Andrew doesn't just pick on regular folk. No, he believes in equality and has started beef with a ton of Kenyan men celebrities, while still being humorous about it. Most notable victims are Bahati, Terence Creative, Eric Omondi, Omosh, Kabi wa Jesus, Director Trevor, and Robert Burale. But we think we might have cracked the code on why he holds such extreme views. You see, Andrew didn't exactly grow up in a healthy environment. He claims that his mother was an evil woman, and his dad could not control her as he preferred to keep peace in his household. He thinks that a man is a god of war, and as a man, you do not back down from war. He claims his dad always backed down from issues and failed to control his wife, insinuating that his father was weak. So, we think this might explain why he has such a negative view of women, weak men, and relationships in general. Now, we can't say how much of his takes are real and how much is exaggerated for views, but whatever it is, it's definitely been working out for him. He currently has over 280,000 subscribers on YouTube, but the number only seems to keep growing day by day. According to some, Kibe is in contention for becoming one of Kenya's most highly paid YouTubers. While the influencer has never talked about his social media earnings publicly, it's definitely gotta be up there. Don't believe us? Let's break it down for you. Andrew has a growing channel that has about 52 million combined views. He usually uploads 5 to 10 minute videos multiple times a day. Each video gets around 50,000 views per day. Now, assuming he's getting 300,000 page views per day, how much of that will be translated into earnings? Let's look at the statistics. On YouTube, every 1,000 views generates 100 Kenya shillings, meaning that 300,000 views generate 30,000 shillings per day. This leads us to believe he's making approximately 900,000 shillings per month. If you count in merch sales, Cameo, and premium content subscriptions like Patreon, that can easily add up to an additional 100,000 per month. Not only this, but Kibe also hosts a live channel on his YouTube channel, which he streams every day. It is approximated that he can make as much as 20,000 Kenya shillings from a single stream through Super Chat and platforms such as M-Pesa and Cash App. So, even if we say he misses a day or two in a week, which he rarely does, that's like an additional 20,000 times 25, which is 500 Kenyan shillings per month. Okay, so if we add this all up, we can safely say that Kibe is making somewhere around 1 to 1.5 million Kenyan shillings in a single month. But just because Andrew seems to be making a lot of money doesn't mean he isn't interested in giving back to his community. He has contracted a couple of Kenyan youths who help him run his YouTube channel and maintain his online presence. The most popular one being the young boy, Depo Dice, who did his theme song, Tuko Rogue. Based on my extensive research, I respect Kibe for attempting to raise a stronger, more masculine generation of men.
What I am doing is I am saving the future generations.
And commend him for his efforts. I also admire his ambition and courage to always stand for what he believes in. But I think he can do it without demeaning our women. What do you guys think? I'd like to hear your opinion on the comments below. And while you're down there, maybe a like and a sub for more of such content.